they got to work from home because the roads were so icy out in Sparta. They went virtual.
Hey there.
They went all virtual, and
That's
because they had 30 staff out at the high school,
perfect. Just down a little bit.
they couldn't staff. Yep. She said they had this big faculty meeting, and the high school principal literally had his head in his hands, and they couldn't do it. And he's a first-year high school principal with a first-year superintendent. Glen, we have these slate sidewalks, and they get so slick. Oh, okay. Just give us the nod when we're live.
So Winnie just says,
No.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah. And here, I think you can watch the live stream through the website. And Anthony said he's the only one in his family that tested positive, and he says he hasn't been anywhere except out to walk his dog. Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe it's the dog's fault.
Because we can't officially even start our new decade.
Right, we're just waiting on Tracy. So Tracy and Anthony, we won't have. Mike DeLu, as far as I know, we'll have. Michael DeLu? No, oh, that's right, he's in, so we still have a quorum. We have 6 of us.
We should have six.
Yeah, we have 6.
Either way, we have five.
We have a quorum now, so we can start. But it's up, it's your call, Barbara,
Yes, it is.
because you're in charge. Not quite 7.
Oh, yeah, she's not a member yet, so we can.
No, she's still waiting.
Well, no, Dave's still a member, so. I think we should wait another minute, just because technically Kristen is sworn in, so does she count? Because we technically have 4 out of 9.
Well, I think it's still out of 9. No, it's not true.
Teresa still would count. Until the person's sworn in, Teresa's on the board. Yeah.
Heather. There's Heather. Yeah. So now we're more than a quorum. Well, I was thinking about it this weekend and then on Monday, and I think how many of us will be found positive before the reorganization meeting?
Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a moment of silence, please? This is a regular meeting of the Glen Ridge Board of Education. Adequate notice of this change of meeting location and time has been provided in that this board notified the Glen Ridge paper and the Star Ledger on November 22nd, 2021. Said notice was published in the Star Ledger on December 2nd, 2021, and the Glen Ridge paper on December 2nd, 2021. The date, time, and location of this meeting were also emailed to all recipients of the annual schedule of the board's meetings. The results of the annual school board election are as follows. Board member total votes for 3 3-year terms. Anthony Bonnet, 1,920. David Campbell, 1,817. Kristen O'Neill, 2,052. Elected are Anthony Bonnet, David Campbell, and Kristen O'Neill. At this At this time, I would like to swear in the elected board members. Mr. Bonnet is not here, so we will start with Mr. Campbell. Please repeat after me. Raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear
I, David Campbell, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States and this state
and to the governments established in the United States and this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name, do solemnly swear
I, David Campbell, do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
for the office of member of a Board of Education,
for the office of member of a Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to law,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to law,
nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in statute,
convicted? No, I'm sorry. I got it, okay. Nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in statute,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability.
all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand. I state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Kristen O'Neill, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States and this state
and to the governments established in the United States and this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I, Kristen O'Neill, do
I-
solemnly swear
I, Kristen O'Neill, do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
for the office of member of a Board of Education,
for the office of member of a Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to law,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to law,
nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in statute,
nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in statute,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability.
all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll now call the roll. Mr. Bonnet. Mr. Campbell. Sorry. Mr. DeLu. Ms. Gottlieb.
Here.
Ms. Graham.
Here.
Ms. O'Neill.
Here.
Ms. St. Auburn. Dr. Yaris Ramos.
Here.
Ms. Ginsburg.
Here.
We have a quorum. Now I will move on to nominations for president. May I have a nomination for board president?
I nominate Betsy Ginsburg.
May I have a second? Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, may I have a show of hands for Ms. Betsy Ginsburg as board president? All in favor, please raise your hands. It's unanimous. Congratulations, Ms. Ginsburg. The meeting is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we will take nominations for the office of First Vice President. May I have a nomination?
I nominate Michael DeLu.
Mike DeLu, may I have a second? Second from Duval. Are there any other nominations? That being the case, may I have a show of hands for Michael DeLu? It is unanimous. Congratulations in absentia to Michael. He will be with us at the next meeting. Now, may I have nominations for the office of Second Vice President? I will nominate David Campbell. May I have a second? Second from Duval. Any other nominations for the office of Second Vice President? Okay, all in favor of David Campbell, please raise your hands. That too is unanimous. Congratulations, David. All right. Happy New Year to everybody. It's an honor to be president of the board again. Every time I hear that oath, I get a chill down my spine. It is an amazing thing, even in a town that is only 3 square miles. We did have some written communication since our last meeting, which was December 13th. We had communication from the Glen Ridge CPAC, that is the Special Education Parents Advisory Committee, with reference to the upcoming special education audit. Mr. Phillips responded to that. We had a communication from Lynn O'Sullivan regarding the CDC guidance on quarantine, and which has been confusing to many people because the CDC guidance on quarantine does not apply to schools. We're waiting for school-specific guidance on that. We also had several pieces of correspondence from constituents with varying opinions on various aspects of our COVID protocols. In every case, Mr. Phillips has responded with clarification on those protocols and how we arrive at those protocols. And that is all the public communication for this particular period. And the president's report will be blessedly short and sweet. Much has happened on the COVID front since we last met on December 13th. The CDC and NJDOH guidelines have been revised and are in the process of being revised again, which has caused a lot of stress, confusion, planning in all districts, including ours. Obviously, the situation seems to change day by day, and COVID is somewhat bigger than all of us. But we are moving ahead. The governor had his first press conference on COVID last Monday. He uses the term COVID tsunami that has engulfed us all. He will continue to have those press conferences once a week and update the public on any changes in COVID strategy or COVID mandates at the state level. He has asked for the mask mandate to be extended beyond its sunset date of January 11th, and that is up to the legislature, but the indications are that the legislature will give him permission to do that. And with that, it is time for the superintendent's report. Mr. Phillips.
Thank you, Betsy. Congratulations to the newly sworn-in Board of Education members and to the newly elected officers. And I want to wish everyone a Happy New Year. The December break was busier than what we would have anticipated or would have liked. During the break, the district received several either Department of Health or Department of Education memos that were related to the pandemic, including, as Betsy mentioned, the new CDC quarantine, general public guidance, recommendations for districts as we're on a very high risk level, and an introduction to Test to Stay program that we are currently reviewing. I need to thank the school nurses and administrators for all the time that they put in managing the pandemic during the break. It was an excessive amount of time for these individuals, and I do appreciate the work that they've had to do. We are working to keep our schools open. We have revisited some of our safety protocols and are making sure the protocols that we have in place are enforced. We've limited some of our after-school activities, we've adjusted the classroom setups, and when lunches are back up and operating, we're going to make sure that we're maintaining safe distances during the lunch periods. During December, we had a significant number of individuals who had contracted COVID, and hopefully everyone is on their way to recovery. Some of those individuals have started returning to school because their quarantine period is over. For the past 2 days, we've had a handful of new cases in each building, and we're closely monitoring those numbers. The trend that we're hoping to experience is that we're having more individuals come back to school coming off of the quarantine period than having new cases occur. As we're looking at a decision about the model of instruction moving forward, we are consulting with our health experts, the local health director and our school physician. The administrative team is constantly communicating and discussing the situations. We're looking at the number of cases that we have in each building. what are the trends, and determining if we're experiencing any outbreaks. Lastly, we're really taking a hard look at our staff and can we open buildings safely? And that includes having teachers in the classrooms, having teachers on duties, administration in the buildings, and our custodians. We often forget the important role our custodians play, especially during the winter season. If we do have some inclement weather, we need them available to clear the buildings, so make sure they're safe. We also need them to make sure that our boiler systems are working correctly. So all those factors come into play as we determine how to proceed, and we're going to be discussing that in the next 2 days and notifying the school community of our plans for next week by the end of the week. Thank you.
Okay. We have now come very quickly to the first public comment period for public comments on agenda items only. Our protocol, for those who aren't familiar with it, is that if you have a public comment, please come to the lectern at the front. I believe there is a sign-in sheet. Sign in, and then give us your name, confirm your Glen Ridge residency, and let us know what your comment is. You have 2 minutes to state your comments. So does anyone have a public comment? Okay, it looks like there's no public comment. We have another public comment period at the end of the meeting for comments on agenda items or other items pertaining to the running of the schools. And now, board members, you have in your packets minutes from our meeting of December 13th, both executive session and public session. I believe, Jocelyn, you notified Barbara of a change. Does anyone else have any changes to those minutes?
So that's just on page 2 of the regular session minutes. We're going to strike the word school from the first public comment.
No changes? All right. If that is the case, David, would you move the minutes?
Yeah, I wasn't at the meeting, so
Oh, okay.
I'm not comfortable making the
Heather,
motion.
would you move the minutes? Okay, may I have a second? Second from Duval. Since there are no comments or changes on the minutes, Barbara, would you call the roll?
Mr. Campbell? Ms. Gottlieb?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. O'Neill?
Abstain.
Dr. Yaris Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Administrative items, we have a number of them. David, would you move the administrative items?
Yes, that I can do. I move A1 through A11.
Okay, may I have a second? Second from Heather. I draw to your attention A2, which is the New Jersey School Boards Association delegate and alternate. Since you did not object, Jocelyn, I made the same assignments as last year. I also draw to your attention A4, which is the Board Members' Code of Ethics, to which we all subscribe and which we all have to sign our affirmation of every single year. And now, it's been moved. Was it seconded? Yes, it was. If there are no further comments, any comments or questions on the administrative items? All right, Barbara, would you call the roll?
Mr. Campbell? Aye. Ms. Gottlieb?
Aye.
Ms. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. O'Neill?
Abstain.
Dr. Yaris Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And now, personnel. Let's see. Duval, would you move personnel?
Sure. I'll move P1 through P6.
Okay, may I have a second?
Second.
Second from Jocelyn. In keeping with the Board Members' Code of Ethics and our policies, all personnel-related items are discussed in executive session. So if there are no objections? Oh, yep, yes, Heather.
Can I ask what needs to be approved at the state district approval? Says pending district state approval?
No, I can answer it. We require the state requires background checks. We require medical, physical before employment begins.
Okay, so it's not certification.
No, no.
Okay, any other concerns or questions? Barbara, would you call the roll?
Mr. Campbell? Ms. Gottlieb?
Aye.
Ms. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. O'Neill?
Abstain.
Dr. Yaros Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, we don't have curriculum items, so we will proceed to the business items. David, would you move the business items?
I move B1 through B4.
Okay, may I have a second? Second from Heather. Thank you. Any questions or comments on the business items?
Did I miss B4?
Is it sent out as an addendum?
It's on one of the, okay. Great.
Barbara, just so everyone knows, would you read out B4?
Sure. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, move to approve the workshop conferences for the following staff. Heather Kablinski, counselor, grief counseling and treatment certification training, dates 2/11, virtual cost of $249.93, and Dave Majewski, teacher, 2022 National Council of History Educators Conference, at a cost of $215.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, that being the case, Barbara, would you call the roll?
Mr. Campbell? Ms. Gottlieb?
Aye.
Ms. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. O'Neill?
Abstain.
Dr. Yaros Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Aye. Okay, that motion carries. We've now very quickly reached the second public comment for comment on agenda or other items pertaining to the running of the schools. The protocols are the same. Does anyone have a comment? Very quiet group in the new year. All right, if that is the case, the board does have a brief executive session. May I have a motion from the board to go into exec session?
Motion.
Motion from David. May I have a second? Second from Duval. The board will not be doing any further public session business at the end of our very short exec session. So I thank you all for being here.